Previously on House of Odd.
Hey, Odd.
What?
Catch.
Shade. Why won't this thing work? It's still too hot.
Oh, hello, Professor. Don't bother trying to reply, this is a pre-recorded message. Good job on finishing the Philosopher's Stone, I suppose. But I'm not having you around while you do this crap. It's incredible what a pain in the ass you can be sometimes. The port key will reactivate once you finish the Chamber of Secrets. Here's your GameCube. Here's your controller. Toodles! Christ, this was the one I was looking forward to playing as well. I mean, I didn't think I'd be doing it like this. It's so hot. Hey Alex, couldn't you send some refreshments? I don't know, water? Or those. Let's get this over with.
8 hours later.
Okay. The game feels samey, but polished. Some things are fixed and some are broken. The story's portrayed pretty well, much better than last time around. Thankfully, we don't have to run around the Dursley home and deal with Dobby. Instead, we are treated to a little cutscene showing us the events leading up to Harry ending up in Nocturne Alley. You can tell that they put a lot more effort into the cutscenes this time. I mean, it's nothing to marvel at, but it's an improvement nonetheless. A golf clap to the dev team. So our big hairy boy Hagrid rescues us from Nocturne Alley and sends us into Gringotts to fetch some moolah. Right off the bat we can see some major differences. While the previous game was top-down, this one has an isometric point of view instead. It looks pretty good actually, but with the change in perspective comes a price. We're still stuck with a D-pad. Isometric would work so much better with a stick. It feels super strange to have to walk diagonally so much. It took some time getting used to, that's for sure. This time around, charging up your spells is a thing, which is required to kill these, fire turtles? I actually remember getting stuck here for quite some time as a kid, partly because I didn't really speak English yet, so hints were not of much help, and partly because I didn't try holding down buttons. It hadn't really hit me yet. I wasn't the brightest screw in the drawer. No. Wait. So according to the Wizarding World, or at least Hagrid, I'm pretty sure he mentions it in one of the films, but whatever, Gringotts is the safest place in the world. No better place to store valuables, right? And this game really shows that off, because you can die trying to retrieve your own money. I mean, they just sent a 12-year-old kid down there all like,
"Hey laddie, you see that big fiery turtle bastard over there? Kill it and then maybe I'll tell you where your vault is. But no promises." We do make our way to Harry's vault though. I mean, sure, it's by the means of persistence, hardship, blood, sweat and tears, but we do make it. And I'm not sure if you remember, but Harry is more or less the Scrooge McDuck of the Wizarding World. I mean, have you ever seen The Boy Who Lived give anything to the poor? You know, like the Weasleys, who treat his ass as a son? Didn't think so. Anyway, all we have to do is grab some gold, fill our pockets, and go on our merry way. Back in Diagon Alley, we buy some supplies, talk to some people, save Neville's toad, and rummage through people's home for their spare change. Man, this kid's been playing way too much Zelda. I mean, Link's not a role model in that regard, Harry. With all our supplies purchased, we then head off to Hogwarts. In the flying car, of course, because, you know, Chamber of Secrets. And, wow, let me tell you, Hogwarts is absolutely brilliant this time around. It really feels like what I imagine roaming around Hogwarts must feel like. I wanted to explore every nook and cranny in search for something new and exciting. I mean, it genuinely sucked me into the point where I almost forgot that my situation right now is a living hell! Unfortunately, we don't get any revolving staircases, but since walking up 7 flights of stairs every time you want to go to the Gryffindor common room would make up for, what, half of the game's playtime, we get a quick travel alternative instead. Every floor that you want to visit a lot has these portraits on them that hide a secret path to a room on the ground floor titled The Portrait Room.
Real innovative naming, I know. But it makes getting around the castle a very smooth and painless experience, which is not something I can say for the first title, which had you walk through a maze-like school every time you wanted to go anywhere at all. Hogwarts is also a lot more open to you this time around, with small side activities spread about the school. While some are pretty neat, like searching for chocolate frog cards, Quidditch, and the Fred and George Beans challenges, others are crazy tedious, like finding 100 tomato-flavored beans. Some are literally hidden away in random paintings in the middle of dungeons with no indication of them being there whatsoever.
Wait, what's that over there? Cool. 1 down, 99 to go. Wait, what do you get for doing this again? A slide puzzle? Not worth it.
Anyway, I mentioned the Beans challenges. Fred and George have a little store tucked away in a bathroom on the 7th floor, where you can buy many commodities, like stink bombs and...
You know, it's Fred and George. All that garbage.
They also host the Bean challenges, which are, I guess I'd call them obstacle courses, where you have to collect a set amount of beans while either avoiding enemies and obstacles or doing some platforming. For every challenge you complete out of 5 in total, you get a famous wizard or witch card, and a password for one of the paintings in the portrait room.
Number 1, easy. Number 2, easy. Number 3, oh so easy. Number 4, easy. Number 5, nightmare fuel.
As I was playing through this, I remembered having some real difficulty finishing the Beans challenges as a kid, but I thought, I must have just been bad at the game since going through challenge 1 through 4 was a breeze. But damn, for real though, challenge 5 introduces actual platforming, and I'm not sure you realize this, but...
You shouldn't do platforming in your game when it's an isometric perspective. I mean, especially when all you have to control with is a D-pad. We get a total of 5 spells.
Flipendo, which is an all-around attack spell just like the last game. Incendio, which lights torches and acts as a secondary attack spell. Wingardium Leviosa, of course, because no Harry Potter game would feel complete without the ability to make things float slightly above the ground. And Scourge, which is basically a combination of Alohomora and Abiforce from the last game. It is used to remove ectoplasm from doors you can get through and to check if statues are actually ghosts, usually revealing a switch. Now I said that Scourge is this game's Alohomora. That's not strictly true though, since Alohomora actually exists in this game as well. However, it's an optional spell that is not necessary to finish the story. In this game, it's used to unlock chests that are hidden around the castle. You actually run across a lot of these chests during your playthrough. So I guess the idea is to unlock the spell after finishing the story, adding some more replayability.
As far as learning them all, unfortunately we don't get the sexy teacher-to-student dance this time around. Instead, we're just handed a book. Hey!
All of the spells do their job fairly well though, and I have to mention that the animation for Wingardium Leviosa is actually pretty great. Look at it, it's a stone slab with wings. So, it all sounds fine and good, right? No issues? Well, actually I do have one thing that I want to bring up. So the Game Boy Advance has 6 buttons on it, not counting the D-pad. A, B, L, R, start, and select. In the previous game you cycled through your spells by pressing the R button, which works just fine since switching spells is something you do pretty regularly. In the Chamber of Secrets, you also have to change your spells a lot, so which button do we use to do that?
None. There is no button select spells in this game. Instead, you have to pause the game, scroll once to the right, select your spell, and then unpause. It's so goddamn tedious. I mean, yes, they did give Harry the ability to jump and select items in this game, so maybe the developers had fewer buttons to, work with. The controls of Chamber of Secrets are as follows.
A, casts spells. B is an action button used for opening chests, for example. L uses items. R jumps. Start pauses. Okay, so maybe the developers didn't have enough buttons, but wait, that's only 5 buttons. So what's the select button used for? Let me repeat myself. The select button, for selecting things. Well, it's used for
fucking nothing. The select button is used for nothing. Why? Why? Also, why the hell is there an ability, a button, to change items when it's done so much more infrequently than changing spells is? It's just... Forget it.
As far as the story goes, it follows the movie pretty well, while throwing in an occasional nod to the books, like Peeves for example. You go to Hogwarts, learn some spells, talk some snake language, play some Quidditch, hang out in the girls' bathroom, brew some Polyjuice potion, talk to Voldy through his diary, save Ginny Weasley from the Chamber of Secrets, and fight a giant snake monster. The portrayal is all just very Chamber of Secrets. Nothing that stuck out to me is great, but nothing that stuck out to me is bad either.
All in all, the game is miles ahead of its predecessor. More or less everything feels refined. Some stuff got on my nerves, but I wouldn't call it a bad game. I actually had no problem playing through it again. But now, I'd really like to go home.
Hey, thanks for giving this a watch. Just like last time, there are some inconsistencies to be found. First one to find them all and leave a comment will get pinned. I will also give you a special title on the Discord server, if you're on there. If you haven't joined the server yet, there's a link to it below, along with links to my social media accounts. New here? Consider subscribing. See you next week!